partial quotient methods for division. So multiplying on is basically the first and partial quotient method is the second stage, and we'll try to understand both of these using an example. Let's say Amit is a person who has an apple orchard and he packs these apples in small cartons to supply to the local vendors. Now one of the months Amit had a produce of 372 apples, and he again wants to pack them in cartons, and every single carton can contain 7 apples. We'll be finding out how many cartons will Amit require to pack all of these apples using multiplying on method first. Now Amit has to pack 372 apples. I can easily say that Amit would require at least 10 cartons to pack 7 apples in each, and he'll be able to pack 70 apples. After packing these, now he'll be left with 302 apples. Again, we've got 302 apples. So Amit can easily require 10 cartons. He puts 7 apples in each, and he'll be again packing 70 apples, and this time he'll be left with 232 apples. Now I know that there are 232 apples still left, and I want to try something else, something different. So I'll try that at least 20 cartons he can use. If he puts in 7 apples in each, he'll be able to pack 140 apples, and this time he'll be left with 92 apples. And now again I'll try using 10 cartons, putting 7 apples in each and packing 70 apples. This time Amit will be left with 22 apples. Now we have got 22 apples. We cannot use 10 cartons, there would be too much. Let's try another number. So let's say that we want to use 3 cartons. If he puts 7 apples in each, he'll be able to pack 21 apples, and he'll be left with 1 apple, for which he can use 1 extra carton. Now let's see how many cartons have we used till now. So we have used 10, 10, 20, 10 and 3, which means 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, which is 53 cartons. So in all we have used 53 plus 1 extra carton. Now here in this method, for every step we had to keep a record of how many apples are left after packing them. So let's try and solve this again using the partial quotient method. We again have to pack 372 apples, and every single carton can contain 7 apples. Now if Amit uses 10 cartons, he'll be packing 70 apples. He'll be left with 302 apples. Again, let's try 10 cartons. We'll be packing 70 apples. We'll be left with 232 apples. Let's try 20 cartons now. 140 apples we'll pack, and we'll be left with 92 apples. We know we can use 10 cartons again, packing 70 apples. Now we'll be left with 22 apples, and let's finally use 3 cartons and pack 21 apples. We'll be left with 1 apple, for which we are using an extra carton. Let's try how many cartons have we used. 10 plus 10 20 plus 20 40 plus 10 50 and 3 53, and we've got 53 plus 1 extra carton. Let's look at another example, and this time Amit has got a produce of 785 apples, and this time, since the produce is bigger, Amit has also got bigger cartons. This time every carton can contain 14 apples. We'll now try finding out how many cartons will he be using to pack all of these 785 apples. Let's just put the number of apples here. We know every carton can contain 14 apples. I'll again first try that if I use 10 cartons, I'll be able to pack 140 apples. I'll be left with 645 apples. I know there are many apples, so I'll not go for 10 this time. Let me try 20 cartons. If I use 20 cartons, I'll be able to pack 280 apples. Now I'll be left with 365 apples now. Again, let me try 20 cartons. This time again packing 280 apples, and now I'm left with 85 apples. Now I cannot use 10 cartons, that will be too much. Let me try for another number. Let me try for 5 cartons. Now if I use 5 cartons, I will be able to pack 70 apples, and I'll be left with 15 apples. Now I see I can use at least one more carton, so I'll put one carton here, and 14 apples I'll pack, and I'll be left with one apple. Now for this one apple I can use one extra carton. Now let's see how many cartons have we used. So we have used 10, 20, 25 and 1, which is 10 and 20, 30 plus 20, 50 plus 5, 55 and 1, 56 and 1 extra carton. So I have used 56 plus 1 extra carton.